I got my start in the business at a very young age. I'm one of the few people that knew what they wanted to do from the very beginning. I grew up and born and raised in Northwest Indiana. My dad worked for a trucking company, and back in the day, I'm going to show my age on this a little bit. Back in the day, if a car made it 50,000 miles without a major repair, you had a good car. My dad was a safety engineer for a trucking company and did a lot of on-the-road traveling. And since he was on the road, he could put 100,000 miles on a car in 1 year, and it wasn't a problem. So there was always something to do on the weekends. When he came home, we were out in the driveway working on the car. As I grew up, that was just the way life was. Dad came home, we went out in the garage, we worked on cars, and we got him ready for work the next week. And this went on through most of my childhood. We got transferred around a little bit. We went from Indiana to Ohio. We wound up here in Omaha. I went to school and graduated from Technical High in '72, and I never lost sight of what I wanted to do. I always wanted to work on cars. As I was growing up and I had to have money for whatever I needed, it was easy to find a car to work on. It was a neighbor's car, it was a fellow student's car. Could you fix this for me? Yeah, sure, you know, and then a little money from it, and it just seemed like a natural fit. I never second guessed what I wanted to do. In 1986, Darrell Bush came out to Dean Rawson to do a job shadow, and along the 30 days he was there, he spent about a week, 2 weeks with me, and we were talking, and he was telling me about what it's like to be an instructor and how the college works. And at the end of the 30 days, he said, you know, you ought to come down and give teaching a try. So in 1986, I started at the college as an adjunct instructor, and the rest of that's kind of history. I stayed with it even when I transferred and went to Lincoln for 2 years. I still came back and kept teaching at nights. So I was working all day and then teaching at nights, and it kept me pretty busy. And the more I taught, the more I enjoyed it. And when the full-time job here at Metro finally opened up, I applied, and this is what I was always doing, even back in 1986. I never had a gap from that, and I stuck with the college, and it's what I've always enjoyed. And sooner or later, you're going to get tired of changing oil, you know, and rotating tires and doing that grind all day long. So the question became, you know, do I want to do that the rest of my life, or do I want to find something else and give back to the industry? So I took the job full-time teaching, which I've always enjoyed. I try and help my students understand that, you know, it's not about changing oil, it's not about rotating tires, it's about helping people, and that's the hard part to teach. Is, yep, we can teach them to change oil and rotate the tires and do the engine overhauls, the transmission overhauls, but what we can't teach them is how to care. And that's got to come from them. And we do little things along the way to help them understand that and the importance of caring. My teaching high is when a student comes back after they've left the program and they tell me their life story and how I had an effect on their life. Most of the time when they leave here, we never see them again. And yeah, we've helped them make a living and we've helped them get to where they want to be. But when they come back and tell you this, then they're trying to improve you. And that's the high point for me, is when they come back and they say, you know that little thing you showed me? Man, that worked out so great because I went here and I showed them this and it really helped me out. And here's something you could do to help improve the program and help other students. It's the feedback from them that I get after they leave. Because that means I've made a difference, I've taught them how to care, and they care enough to come back and say, I care about you and the program, let's improve it together. And to me, that's huge. The greatest takeaway, I want them to know how to care, how to apply themselves to new situations, and don't worry about the money. The money comes natural. You help people, people will help you, and the best way to help is to help someone else. When I started here in 1986, we were using overhead projectors and whiteboards. At the time, that was the industry standard. Not so much anymore. If you want to succeed in this business, you've got to be very tech savvy, computer savvy. I have a minor in computer programming. So as I saw things like, at the time it was WebCT, now Angel, Blackboard, the classroom technology, the learning management systems, that's going to be the key to tomorrow. The technology in the classroom is I give you the tools and you learn how to apply those tools. But I have to give you the resources. And I'm not going to be there all the time. There's a lot of technology out there that you need to learn how to use as a student. Google is a great one. If I want to learn how to mount a tire, yes, I could read it out of a book, or I could watch a video, but where do I get the video? You can go to YouTube, you can go to Google. We put them in our learning management systems. We filtered out the junk, we put them in there. And then when something new comes along, they say, okay, well, here's this video on how to work on this widget. Is there a video? Is there another resource? How do we get them to use the technology that surrounds them? If we just teach them to read it out of a book or go out and work on it, they're going to get in trouble, especially with electronics. You're going to get hurt, you're going to damage something. So watch some videos, use some resources. How do you discover what you don't know? The greatest challenge is getting students to buy in and realize that, yeah, you're going to get dirty, there's going to be homework, you're never going to get away from the learning. What we teach you here isn't going to be everything you need to know. Having students develop good work habits, good study skills, how to use their time well, and developing the critical thinking of the student. Where do I see myself in 5 years, 10 years? I see myself changing the program, changing the way we interact with the community. How do we repair the shortage of technicians? Currently, there is such a great shortage for technicians and a demand for trained technicians that in a traditional sense of having a student come here, go through our program for 2 years and then go to work is really unfair to the student. What we got to do is find a way to get them earning early on, get them in with their employer, let their employer help them develop these thought process, the work habits, the ethic. And my next step is to how do we best implement industry into our program. Currently, we train the student, we turn them loose on industry. We'd like to make industry and Metro become one. So if a student is interested in working on Fords, then we have them interact with a Ford dealer early on. If they're interested in working on all makes and models and they want to go to an independent, we set up that partnership with an independent early on. This helps the student see the end goal. You know, is this what they want to do? What's involved with that? So long term, I want to see more of industry interaction. I want to see more of us helping the student meet their end goals, and I want to see the program growing in the direction that industry needs. Not what we think they need, but what they tell us they need and what they show us they need. The best philosophical advice I could give is understand what you don't know, and you really don't know what you don't know until you try it. So try it. When you don't understand it, figure out that you don't understand it, and then find a place that you can go to as a resource to help you understand it. Don't give up. I'm Al Cox, lead automotive instructor from Metro Community College, South Omaha, Nebraska.